I'm finna change your mind with a hint of good vibes and a little bit of mind control. Yeah, finna take this all in your mind. Oh, yeah, finna turn it out, even on and let it go. Oh, when I say it's all in your mind. Oh, yeah, finna turn it out, even on and let it go.
Before we move off this topic, can I ask if you're currently a hologram?
This suggests at least one topic has been covered before Dr. Wong bothered to confirm whether she was talking to a human hologram or human hologram dinosaur hybrid. And have you met Rick Sanchez?
Okay, what's the sin? How did the episode make a mistake? You haven't said anything genuinely critical yet, and by definition, that sin wasn't a joke. So what was the point of it?
You've heard the state motto, Virginia is for lovers?
That's actually more of a tourism slogan. We all know that the motto has...
Skip?
Danger!
Episode will not pay off this Yeti prophecy, but the show will expect me to be impressed when they bring it back a year from now in an episode about the abominable snowman accidentally consuming whatever the space equivalent of cocaine is.
I hate having to keep repeating this, but what's the sin here? You just rambled out a bunch of garbage and rang the sin bell. It wasn't legitimately critical or funny, so what the hell, man?
Damn it, Rick and Morty, is this going to be a vomit episode? The fact that you picked vomit as your mind control delivery method of choice instead of touch, brainwaves, or f***ing hand jobs is more about you than it does me. Why would you want to animate this instead of a hand job?
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy handjob joke that isn't funny, cliche.
Surrounded, and Unity knows your reload time.
Not thinking that Rick would be able to randomize his refractory period.
I mean, he clearly can't in this situation. All he has on him are the gun and the magazines, and we already saw that he has to manually reload, so...
Calm down! We came because we're worried about you!
Vomit aside, I was actually having a great time with this episode until it revealed that Unity traveled across the galaxy, assimilated an entire state, and declared independence from America, all to get Rick's attention so she can talk about how much she still cares. Which, ironically, means I suddenly don't.
And why is that? Are you going to explain your reason or just leave it there? See, this is a big problem with TVSins. They're actually very influential on their audience because their fanboys are generally too simple-minded to think for themselves, meaning they think everything TVSins says is automatically true. So when they say something like this, most of their fans immediately denounce this episode as trash because TVSins said so, even though they didn't provide any reason for why this plot point is bad. I'm not saying you have to like every plot point. I'm just saying you should actually explain your opinions instead of just assuming they're valid.
I tried calling, but is it true you're looking for him again?
When you pronoun game this explicitly, I start to question my efficacy. And no one makes me question my own efficacy.
The pronoun game sins only really work when the person doesn't know who the other character is talking about. In this case, Rick immediately knew that Unity meant Rick Prime.
Cue up the dome! Yes, sir!
Equipping your helicopter with a big-ass handle for the sole purpose of activating a dome is completely in line with what I imagine the government bean counters believe to be fiscally responsible.
Discount Jeremy explains why it's not a sin, and then gives it a sin.
You have a dome the size of every state?
You'll need a second date for that answer.
Trading state secrets for second dates. The Constitution.
Skip.
He sees Virginia with its perfect economy and synchronized lawn mowing, so he shoots them and puts them in a dome?
Is she totally ignoring the zombie people in their oral evictions? Either this is what Virginia looks like on any given day, or this news channel is willfully ignorant of the truth and spreading misinformation.
I actually kind of appreciate the Virginia jokes, but I just like to point out how a second ago he sinned the news anchor for criticizing the president based on alien disasters happening, instead of criticizing the way he handled those disasters.
Listen, disastrous shit happens regardless of who bought their way into office. What you should criticize him for is how terribly he handled each disaster.
But now when he sees them clearly criticizing the way he's handling this alien disaster, they're still sinning it.
If it connects to another mind, it could become its own colony.
Oh, wow. You made a PowerPoint?
Nice try, Rick. But one slide with a fancy graphic does not a PowerPoint presentation make. I'm going to need flashy text transitions, at least 3 different fonts per slide, and proof that you spent 3 hours looking for the perfect image from the depths of clip art.
I'm just going to say this once. PowerPoint presentations.
Sorry you lost a finger, but that's the price of surprise butt play.
That fake-ass laugh.
If you invite me to the wedding, I will in the punch.
Rick's got a doo-doo in his butt. Cliche.
Discount Jeremy tries to sing in a video cliche. Also, that's not a cliche.
Is nothing short of literally a 100% approval rating is to save Curtis in the next election.
This Deus Ex news position inspires President Curtis to finally use Chekhov's hive mind.
Discount Jeremy points things out on the screen, cliche. Also, in what universe does this count as a Deus Ex Machina? A Deus Ex Machina is when some kind of power swoops in to solve the conflict. This news broadcast actually created more conflict, so it's doing the exact opposite of a Deus Ex Machina.
But why didn't an intelligence already under the dome take control of the hive? Why not a squirrel, a pigeon, or a reasonably resourceful rat? Basically, I refuse to believe President Curtis is the smartest organism left under the dome.
So this sin was clearly meant as a joke, but seeing as it wasn't funny, I feel justified in sinning it.
Such a beautiful scene. Everyone kissing.
Kissing, intimate vomit exchange, whatever you want to call it, why is no one taking a defensive posture or at least closing their own mouths?
Because they're running away, which is a much better strategy because covering your mouth can be easily undone.
Someone order Cranky Dick?
The slogan for my rejected wind-up sex toy somehow makes it into the script.
Discount Jeremy makes a cringy sex toy joke that isn't funny, cliche.
He's going to assimilate the Earth faster than I can fight it.
Previous seasons have made Rick so unbelievably powerful that now when Rick says he can't solve something, I don't believe that either.
In Season 1, the show established that Rick can and does make mistakes. Do you seriously not remember the episode where Rick accidentally causes the Cronenberg apocalypse and he and Morty have to find a different universe? Just because he's a mega genius doesn't mean he has no limits or flaws.
I need Unity's help, so you need to convince her I'm worth it.
You aren't.
Your therapist saying this to you.
TVSins pointing things out on the screen.
You had an outer space lady who was worried for your life, and your response was hostile enough to cause a huge problem.
This feels like some utter cow turd disguised as therapy. Couldn't Unity have just, left him the f*** alone?
See, you're forgetting the big part of this that kind of makes Rick the bad guy. He was trying to find and murder Rick Prime, which the show hints has been extremely damaging for Rick in the past. Unity was worried about him and wanted to stop him from pursuing his revenge kick, which ultimately doesn't end up changing anything when he finally does kill Rick Prime. At the end of the day, Unity was right.
I can smell this episode. I should not be able to smell an episode.
And I shouldn't be able to smell your bullshit, but here we are.
Weak, sniveling pussy, starved for attention. But there's no fixing that now.